Close your eyes and travel back to Friday, October 13th, 1972. Montevideo Airport, Uruguay. A group of young men, the Old Christians rugby team, along with their friends and families, board a Fairchild FH-227D aircraft. This is not a fictional story. This is a story told by those who survived. A story about 72 days in the heart of the Andes Mountains. A story about how far human beings will go to stay alive. Day 1. The crash. Uruguayan Air Force Flight 571. 45 people on board, most of them young men, 19 to 25 years old, rugby players and their friends. They're traveling to Chile for a match. The pilot is Colonel Julio Cesar Ferradas, an experienced aviator. Beside him, his co-pilot, Lieutenant Dante Laguada. Both men know the Andes. They've flown this route many times before. But on this day, something goes wrong. The weather deteriorates. Clouds blanket the mountains. In the cockpit, they make a decision. Stop in Mendoza, Argentina. Wait out the storm. The next day, October 13th, the weather improves slightly. They decide to continue. 2:18 in the afternoon, the aircraft enters the mountains. Turbulence. Passengers joke, laugh, trying not to show their nervousness. 3:21, the plane is too low. The pilots made a navigation error. They thought they had already crossed the Andes and were beginning their descent into Santiago. But in reality, they were still in the heart of the mountains. Nando Parado, a 22-year-old student, sits by the window. Suddenly, he sees a mountain slope so close he can make out individual rocks. Too close, he thinks. Impact. The right wing clips the mountainside and tears off. Then the left. The tail section breaks away. The fuselage slides like a sled up the snowy slope, then down, crashes into a snowbank, and stops. Silence. Then groaning, screaming. Of the 45 people on board, 12 died instantly or within the first day. 33 survived. But many are injured, seriously injured. The first hours, shock and organization. Next to him, his mother is dead. His sister Susana lies unconscious, badly wounded. He doesn't remember the impact. Concussion. Chaos surrounds him. Someone cries, someone screams in pain. Someone simply sits in shock, staring into emptiness. But among them is a medical student, Roberto Canessa, 19 years old, only in his second year of studies, but it's better than nothing. He begins examining the wounded. The worst injured is Enrique Platero. A metal rod has pierced his abdomen. Canessa understands that without surgery, the boy will die. But how do you perform surgery here, in the wreckage of a plane, without instruments, without anesthesia? Another medical student, Gustavo Zerbino, helps him. They find the aircraft's first aid kit, sewing needles from women's purses, and they perform surgery, right there, on the floor of the fuselage. Platero screams in pain as 4 boys hold him down. He survives this operation, for a time. Where are we? The first night, temperature drops to minus 30 degrees Celsius, minus 22 Fahrenheit. They huddle in the remains of the fuselage, which is now their home. The rear section tore off, so one side is open to wind and snow. They block the opening with suitcases, seats, anything they can find. They press against each other to keep from freezing. Roy Harley, another young man, finds a transistor radio. It works. They listen to the news. They hear about themselves. The plane has disappeared over the Andes. Search operations are underway. This gives them hope. They're being searched for. They'll be found. They just need to wait. Organizing survival. Among them, several natural leaders emerge. Marcelo Perez, 25, captain of the rugby team, the oldest, accustomed to leadership. He organizes everyone. Who collects snow for water? Who searches for debris to reinforce the shelter? Who cares for the wounded? Fito Strauss and his cousin, Eduardo Strauss, are resourceful. They begin inventing ways to improve their situation. They make sunglasses from plastic to prevent snow blindness. They craft tools from the aircraft's metal. Antonio Vizintin, strong and resilient, becomes the chief expeditioner. He climbs onto the wreckage, searches for suitcases scattered across the slope. Food is scarce. From the aircraft, they recovered some chocolate, wine, a few cans of preserves. Marcelo divides everything into tiny portions, one small square of chocolate per person per day. Water is melted snow. But how do you melt it without fire? Again, Fito Strauss invents a system. They take aluminum sheeting from the plane, form it into trays, place snow on it, and set it in the sun. Slowly, drop by drop, the snow melts. Radio and hope. Every evening, they gather around the small radio, listen to the news. Day after day, they hear the same thing. Search operations continue. This sustains them. They talk about what they'll do when rescued. Nando promises to buy the biggest steak in Montevideo. Canessa jokes he'll never fly again. But the food runs out. By the 8th day, the chocolate, wine, canned food, it's all gone. Only snow remains. They're starving. Their bodies begin consuming themselves. Boys who were athletes with strong muscles waste away before each other's eyes. The hardest decision. Around the 10th day, Canessa and several others discuss what everyone is thinking, but no one wants to say aloud. Around them, in the snow, lie the bodies of those who died. The cold has preserved them. They haven't decomposed, simply frozen. Canessa, as a medical student, knows that the human body is protein. It's what can sustain life. He says it out loud. At first, silence. Then someone shouts, "No, we can't." Someone cries. Someone simply remains silent. But Canessa continues, calmly, rationally. If we don't eat, we'll die. All of us. Those who are already dead, they would want us to live. If I died, I would want my body to help you survive. The discussion lasts for hours. They pray. They seek justification. They recall the biblical Eucharist, the body of Christ. Eventually, several of the boys make the decision. Canessa, Fito Strauch, Alejandro Parado, Nando's cousin. They go outside, find the body of one of the pilots. Canessa takes a shard of glass. With surgical precision, cuts a small piece of meat from the thigh. Brings it inside, places it on a metal sheet. The boys watch. Long, long silence. Canessa takes the first piece, chews, swallows. His face expressionless, simply doing what needs to be done. Then Fito, then Alejandro. One by one, most join in. A few refuse at first, but hunger eventually breaks them too. Not everyone. Liliana Navarro, one of 3 women on board, refuses to the end. Justa Inciarte, her friend, also refuses initially, but is eventually forced to participate. They establish rules. No one eats their own relatives. Canessa and Zerbino, as the medics, handle the preparation. Others can simply receive portions without participating in the process. This isn't food. This is survival. This is the hardest thing they ever had to do, but it keeps them alive. The avalanche. The night of October 29th to 30th. Their 17th day in the mountains. Everyone sleeps, pressed together in the fuselage. At 2 in the morning, a thunderous sound. They don't understand what's happening. Suddenly, the fuselage fills with snow within seconds. An avalanche. Tons of snow crash down on their shelter, pressing it into the mountainside. They're suffocating. Darkness, snow everywhere. They scream, try to dig out, but the snow compacts, becomes like concrete. Roy Harley feels snow crushing him. He can't breathe. Panic sets in. Then he forces himself to calm down. Remembers something about creating an air pocket near your face. Cups his hands around his mouth, creating a small space. Breathes into this space, slowly. economically. Some suffocate immediately, others fight for hours. When dawn finally comes and those who could dig themselves out, they count their losses. 8 people suffocated under the snow, among them Marcelo Perez, their captain, their leader, and Nando's sister, Susana. She had fought her injuries for 8 days after the crash and now died under the snow. Nando sits in the snow holding her body, cries. Lost his mother, now his sister. He's the loneliest man in the world. Eventually he stands. Something has changed in his eyes. Determination, anger, despair transformed into strength. "I'm getting out of here," he says. "I'm going to walk through these mountains, and I'm coming back with help." The radios blow. 11 days after the avalanche, October 21st. They listen to the radio as always, waiting for news about the search. And they hear it. The search for Flight 571 has been officially called off. The aircraft is presumed lost. The probability of survival after so many days in the mountains is 0. Silence. Roberto Canessa turns off the radio. The boys look at each other. They're not being searched for anymore. No one is coming. If they want to survive, they must save themselves. The exit plan. Nando Parado, Roberto Canessa, Antonio Vicentin. The 3 strongest make a decision. They'll go, cross the Andes, find help. But how? They're not mountaineers. No equipment, no maps, don't even know exactly where they are. They look at the mountains around them, snow-covered peaks reaching toward the sky, night temperatures of -30, winds that can knock you off your feet. But there's no other way. Weeks of preparation. They gather everything they might need, sew a sleeping bag from the plane's insulation, make packs from pants, cutting off the legs and sewing the bottoms. Collect the warmest clothing from suitcases. Food, sun-dried meat. They make supplies. Know they'll need strength. They train. Every day they climb the slopes around them, strengthen muscles that have atrophied from starvation. The first attempt. Vicentin is the strongest, Canessa the smartest with medical training, Nando the most desperate. He has nothing left to lose. December 12th. After 2 months in the mountains, the 3 set out. The plan is to walk west toward Chile, cross the highest peak they can see. Beyond it, they think, must be Chile. They walk all day, cold, altitude, thin air. Every step is an effort. They drag the sleeping bag and supplies behind them. They spend the night on the slope, squeeze into the sleeping bag, all 3 together, body to body. It's the only way not to freeze. Second day. Third. They climb higher and higher. Finally, after incredible effort, they reach the summit, 4,200 meters above sea level, almost 14,000 feet. And they see more mountains. Dozens of snow-covered peaks stretching to the horizon in all directions, an endless ocean of mountains. Vicentin sits in the snow. "We can't make it," he says. "This is impossible." Canessa is silent. He knows Vicentin is right. But Nando looks to the east. There, far in the distance, he sees something. 2 peaks, slightly lower than the others, and between them, perhaps a valley? "There," he says, pointing. They descend back to the fuselage. It's not time yet. They need a better plan. The final march. The decision is made. Only 2 will go. Nando and Canessa. Vicentin will return. The food will last longer that way. December 12th. They set out again, now with a clear goal. 2 peaks to the east. Between them must be a passage. Day after day they walk. Snow up to their knees, up to their thighs. Cold at night, heat during the day. At altitude, the sun burns mercilessly while the temperature remains below freezing. Their lips crack. Skin burns and peels. Feet bleed in primitive boots. But they keep walking. On the fourth day, the food runs out. They eat snow. Just keep moving forward, because to stop means to die. On the eighth day, they finally descend below the snow line. They see grass, real green grass. It seems like a miracle after 2 months of white. Then a tree, one, then more. Water, a real stream, not melted snow. They follow the stream. It becomes a river. The river leads them down, out of the mountains. The encounter. December 14th, the 10th day of the march. Nando and Canessa are barely walking anymore, completely exhausted. Suddenly, on the opposite bank of the river, 3 horsemen. Nando shouts, waves his arms, but the river is roaring, can't be heard. One of the riders notices them, stops, stares. What does he see? 2 beggars in rags, thin as skeletons, sunburned, ragged. The rider, a Chilean peasant named Sergio Catalan, at first thinks they're bandits or madmen, but something in their eyes. He shouts, "Who are you?" Over the noise of the river, can't be heard. Catalan takes paper, writes, "Where are you from?" Wraps it around a stone, throws it across the river. Nando unwraps it, finds a pencil in his pocket, writes, hand trembling, "I come from a plane that crashed in the mountains. I am from Uruguay. There are still 14 of us alive in the plane. We've been there almost 2 months. Please help us." Throws it back. Catalan reads. His face changes. He waves to them, "Wait," then gallops away. Nando and Canessa sit by the river. Wait. Don't know if he'll return, but there's nothing more they can do. A few hours later, Catalan returns with food, throws it to them across the river. They eat like wild animals. In the morning, he brings them to his house, feeds them, calls the police. Rescue. The next day, December 22nd, Chilean military helicopters rise into the Andes. Nando flies with them, showing the way, and there it is, the piece of fuselage, a small white dot in an ocean of snow. The helicopter lands, soldiers jump out, they see people, if you can call them people, skeletons covered with skin. But alive, they're alive. 14 survivors out of the original 45. They're taken away, 2 trips. The helicopter can't lift everyone at once at this altitude. Canessa and Nando fly last, look down at the place that was their home for 72 days. Aftermath. The story breaks immediately. The miracle of the Andes. 16 boys who survived 72 days in the harshest conditions. But then the details emerge. How they survived, what they ate. Shock, outrage, condemnation. But the survivors are not ashamed. At a press conference, Canessa says calmly, "I would do the same thing again, if I had to, because otherwise I would have died. We all would have died." Parado adds, "Those we ate were our friends. We loved them, and that's exactly why we know they would have wanted us to live. They gave us life twice, first as friends, then as food. We will remember them always." The families of the deceased mostly understand. One father says, "If my son could save the lives of his friends even after death, he would be happy to do it." Legacy. Today, the survivors are elderly men, but they still meet every year on the anniversary of the rescue. Nando Parado wrote a book, Miracle in the Andes. He says, "Those 72 days taught me what life really is, how precious it is, how strong we are when we have to be." Roberto Canessa became a cardiac surgeon, saved thousands of lives. "After what I experienced," he says, "I know the value of every heartbeat." They all live full lives, have children, grandchildren, work, laugh, cry, like all people. But they know something most of us don't know. They know that a human being can endure almost anything, that the will to live is stronger than cold, hunger, despair. That the hardest decisions are sometimes the only right ones. And that love, for life, for friends, for family, can sustain us even at the edge of death. Sleep peacefully. Close your eyes. Imagine not snow and cold, but the warmth of your bed. Imagine not hunger, but fullness. Imagine not despair, but peace. The story of Flight 571 is a story about the darkest moments of human existence, but it's also a story about light that doesn't go out, even in the deepest darkness, about strength, about courage, about choosing to live even when everything says to die. Nando Parado, standing in that snow, after the deaths of his mother and sister, could have given up. Many would have. But he chose to walk, chose to fight, chose life, and saved not just himself, but 13 others. Breathe calmly, slowly, deeply. You are safe. You are warm. Life continues. And tomorrow, when you wake, remember this. You are stronger than you think, capable of more than you can imagine, because that's what we are, human beings. Good night.